So not too long ago, I made a video talking about things I absolutely hated about art. Stuff like lack of motivation, comparing yourself to others and putting yourself down. And some of you guys want to check that video out. Feel free to ditch this video real quick and go watch that and come back hopefully, or don't come back at all. And I don't. Anyways, yeah, because this video is gonna be the complete opposite of that. We're talking about things that I hate about being an artist. Wait, what the fuck? I'm talking about things I love about being an artist. I'm not even gonna cut that out, bro. It's whatever. I don't feel like doing that. Anyways, we're talking about things I love about art. Okay. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, for starters, having the creativity to create whatever you want, whenever you want. I personally love seeing ideas flow. I love having an idea for something and having the ability to just jot it down, to the best of my art ability. I love just the thought of having an idea. When you draw, your brain just automatically just starts generating ideas over time. It just magically becomes an idea machine once you start, creating art. And I just having new ideas is fun. Being able to look at something and bounce a creative idea off it and make something new or make something out of nothing, or being able to be inspired by something to create your own unique artwork is, just something that's always been kind of amazing to me. And the amount of like artistic ideas that go through my head like in a day is insane. Like if I had the time to draw every single idea that's ever popped into my head, I'd be drawing for as long as I've been alive currently. um, I feel like once you start drawing, the ideas just flow, and having the creativity to just draw it, you know being able to actually vision it and put it on paper is very nice. So that brings me kind of into my next point, number two. Watching your art really come to life, watching your art come together. To me personally, there's something like satisfying about like seeing your art get put together over time. I'm sure pretty much every artist probably feels that way if I'm really thinking about it, seeing your idea, actually be brought to life and watching it develop over time, if I'm like having a kid, watching my kid grow up at this point, I like seeing my sketches and then seeing it compared to the final product. I always put um my sketch and my final product together to see how far the drawing has come. Like how you would take a picture when you were entering kindergarten, and then when you graduate, that's what I do with my art. It's like seeing it finally in its final stage. Seeing each color I put onto the page, seeing the rendering done, seeing each stage the color the drawing is in. It's nice to me. I like taking pictures of my art progress to see how much I accomplished with the drawing and all the different things I did. And if I liked a different color and I swapped out a different color and I did this, and whatnot. I like seeing the art really come to life. I like seeing it come from an idea to a sketch to a full drawing. It's always nice, to finally see an idea that you've had in your head really come to life. And, yeah, that's it for that point. But for point number three, I personally just really enjoy even looking at art. I'm sure pretty much every artist also enjoys just looking at art, or else they wouldn't be a fucking artist. Um, this one isn't about making art, it's all about just visualizing art, seeing all the wonderful artwork people can make. And when you yourself become an artist, you have a newfound appreciation for art because you really know exactly what it took to get that drawing done. And you can understand that, damn, this is probably hard as fuck to do. You understand how hard something is. You understand that if you see a beautiful drawing, you'll see like, damn, they definitely put their fucking heart and soul into this. Before I became an artist, I didn't understand how hard, art really was. You'll be able to appreciate art way more that way when you are an artist. I'm not saying you can't appreciate art if you're not an artist, guys. Don't worry. I'm just saying that you have a different level of understanding. Um, in seeing art, just looking at art can really inspire you to just want to create more art and connect with more artists. And that again leads me to point four: connecting with more artists. Now, the art community is a very, very mixed bag, that's for sure. Lots of ups and a fuck ton of downs. A shit ton of controversy, and everyone is always pretty much at war with each other. So you might be asking, why the fuck do I have this in my mind? Why I love art? You know, when you think about it, when I think about it personally, the portion of the community I love is the ones that are able to bounce ideas off each other and work together to further their art paths and grow to help one another. The art community tends to put down artists who don't fit the status quo of being an amazing, peak artist. They often put people down who just begin because their art, of course, isn't very good. But there are still people out there who will see a new artist and support them and help them and be able to bounce ideas off each other and let them grow. And I love that community part of, being an artist, creating things together. Because as I said, once you become an artist, your ideas flow. So being able to bounce off other people and make even more ideas is just fucking great. Um, I used to love seeing like art collabs and art trades and shit where artists were coming together and, making shit come as one together, shit like that. I always thought that was super nice seeing that. Um, and, it's always just nice to have a community around something you enjoy. So, point number 5. Everyone says art is emotional. They're correct. Art is emotion. And I mean, you don't have to create something with like some kind of emotional masterpiece that, depicts every mental state of the world or something. I just mean whenever you draw, you're emotionally connected because it's something you created and you should be proud of. And that's what I love about it. That's why this is point 5. I like the feeling of creating something that you made that you can be emotionally, connected with because it's your art. You know, you feel some type of way when you draw, no matter what you think. Naturally, it's just gonna happen. If you're going through if you're whoa, if you're whoa, I can't speak. Okay, if you're going through a rough time in life, you're gonna end up drawing like more mellow things, and vice versa. If you're going through a really happy point in your life, you're gonna draw more happy things because that's just how you feel. It's not like you're doing it with the intent. It's just how you feel. So you want to draw something happier because you're happy. It's just how your brain and your emotions work. They deflect on what they feel. You know, and even if you don't realize it, it's always nice to have that like way of letting your emotions flow. Art way is a great way of just allowing your emotions to kind of breeze out of you. You know what I'm saying? Now this last point I have, it really isn't as impactful isn't as impactful as the others. you know I just think it's fun to have the ability to create the dumbest shit. You know what I'm saying? Like funny work. If you have a dumb idea, being able to bring it to life and just laugh at it like it's the stupidest shit in the world. Like drawing like fucking grown ass men in bikinis and shit. Drawing all your fucking favorite characters fucking butt naked or something. Not in a weird way. You know what I'm saying? The list goes on. I just think having that fun aspect of art will always make it even more enjoyable. So that's all the reasons that I have for today. Maybe I can think, if I think of more, I'll make another part 2 video or some shit. But anyways, I hope you guys like this video. I want to know what you guys love about art, so feel free to let me know in the comments below. So thank you for watching. Peace out.